hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the anime. And I gotta say right now, man, because I did not review Boruto episode 172, I'm gonna be doing a couple of discussion videos based on some of the stuff that we've actually had in that episode and how it correlates with other information that we've gotten in the manga, as well as in some of the other promotional information that we've gotten. For anime only fans, don't worry, this is not a spoiler heavy video, so you can feel safe to watch this. The information I'm going to be going over is going to be relatively safe for anime only fans. I gotta say right now, man, in the Boruto anime, towards the end of the episode for Boruto episode 172, they had a moment in there that I've seen a lot of people discuss, which is the fact that Sarada looked like she had a moment where she paused and almost blushed when she was around Boruto, and Sarada's showing extra attention to Boruto as a character, and she's having moments where Sarada almost appears as if there's a little bit of a softening that's coming around when it comes to the character of Boruto. And I want to take this time now because I've seen so many people doing the whole Borusaru thing, and I've seen so much support for this shipping just blow up in the aftermath of this, and I want to talk to you guys about the complex love triangle of Boruto, Sarada, and Sumire. And I know somebody's like, yo, wait a second, how's this complex? The reason why this is complex is I lived through the whole Narusaku and Naruhina stuff, and I remember when the pairing wars hit their, or started hitting their peaks around 2009. I want to say that's around when it started peaking, when Sakura's going up to Naruto and hugging him after the pain arc and everything, and you have those moments after the fact. Like, I've seen so many of the same arguments that people are making for Naruto and Sakura, they're making them for Boruto and Sarada. And yet at the same time, I really feel like this is different. I really feel like this is different. I'm not shutting the door on the whole Boruto and Sarada thing, because there are moments, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but there are moments in the Boruto manga after the fact that, and moments that the Boruto manga has that the Boruto anime chose not to actually adapt. But there are moments where you actually see that Sarada over time, she's softened a lot and she's looked more feminine around Boruto. And the reason why it's so important is when you look at the Naruto manga, they kind of did the same thing where they had moments where once Sakura and Sasuke got into close interaction towards the end of the 4th Great Ninja War, there are moments where Kishimoto went out of his way to draw Sakura in a bit of a more feminine nature and given the fleeting glances and everything. And the same thing when it comes to Hinata, to where the face is drawn a little softer. And I don't want to go too far into that because we've already gone through the Naruhina Narusaku thing, but the reason why that's so important is in the Boruto manga, there's a moment where Sumire and Sarada have a conversation that directly deals with Boruto and feelings for the character. And when that came out, a lot of people, myself included, said, oh my god, they're trying to start up pairing wars. And when you look at what's going on now in the Boruto anime, I think that they're trying to add layers to it and start teasing people, and people have taken the bait. And I think that they're building towards that scene with Sumire and with Sarada to start having this conversation here. And because with the Boruto and Sarada thing, to where on one hand it looks like they have a brother-sister relationship, and yet on the other hand you have moments where Sarada has shown a clear change when it comes to Boruto, and she's shown an innate level of attention to detail to him, something that Hinata had for Naruto all the way back in part 1, where Hinata noticed the small things about Naruto that nobody else noticed. I think that there is some fodder to that. And yet at the same time, when you look at what's going on in the manga right now, currently you have the stuff where Sumire is also shown openly really expressing deep concern and affection for Boruto. And I think that that is something where they're setting up this love triangle. And I think that when the anime starts getting to some of the stuff that's going on in the manga, because the manga has laid the groundwork for Sumire and for Boruto to have their moments where they're in deep conversation, and Sumire to have those moments where she's looking longingly and affectionately at Boruto and showing open concern for him, and always being the first one to jump to the conclusion about what's going on with him, and the fact that she's constantly referring to him as Boruto-kun, which is something that Sarada's never done, and it's pretty cut and dry. When you go back to the original pairings, Sakura very rarely, she did so on a couple of occasions, but she very rarely used that term with Naruto. For the most part, it was idiot Naruto and stuff like that. And when it comes to Sakura, she saved that for Sasuke. I think that when it comes to shonen, you can't really overthink it too much. They put it right there in your face in a lot of these times. And so the reason why I think that this is important, that they flesh this out like this, is I really feel like this pairing war between Sumire and Sarada and Boruto, I really feel like this can really go either way. I really feel like it can go either way. I think that if you go with the Boruto and Sarada thing, I think that a lot of these Naruto and Sakura fans, I think with a lot of them, you make right on that, because I think that a lot of the new fans don't realize how toxic that war was. When the Naruto manga ended, you had a lot of people who were so upset that they were burning their manga volumes, and they were so upset that they were sending all kinds of letters to Weekly Shonen Jump. You had a lot of people visibly upset because they pointed out all these different moments for Sakura and Naruto, and all the warning signs there, and all the character statements like the Yamato line, and Minato saying to Naruto that Sakura reminded him of Kushina saying to stay away from the shy weird girls and to find somebody like her, and Sakura, more than one person had dropped a line like, hey, she's really coming off like Kushina. And so a lot of people, they took those lines and they took it to mean that, hey, this is what's going on. But I was one of the first people to say, like when Naruto said, hey, yeah, I know mom told me to find somebody like her, but it's not really going the way that she had planned. That was your definite sign that Naruto had moved on, that he understood Sakura, he wasn't getting none of that Sakura pussy. You weren't gonna find out whether or not the carpets matched the drapes down there. That was not something he was gonna find out. When you look at Boruto and Sarada, there is some hope there. And then on the other side of that, with Boruto and Sumire, you can also have a situation where they play it, for the most part, they play it normal. With the Boruto and Sarada thing, you would have a situation where it's basically playing true to the tested shonen tropes that have been going on for decades now, to where the main character typically ends up with the stern, hot-headed female character that's closest to him, or that's a supplemental heroine to the story. And we've seen that a bunch of times. And yet at the same time, what we've seen in this last generation of shonen is that they kind of buck the trends a little bit, whether it be Ichigo bucking the trend instead of going to Rukia, which there are a lot of Ichi-Rukia shippers. Instead of them going that route, they end up going with Ichigo and Orihime. That's not the traditional pairing. The same thing with Naruto and Hinata. That's not the traditional pairing. And when you start looking at something like this, I think that, you know, you could see a scenario like this to where maybe they buck the trend here. However, I think that they're trying to recreate those pairing types of situations, because the pairing popularity, it is something that does bring extra fodder to the series that gets more people kind of drawn into it. So I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this? And are you team Borosara or are you team Borosumire? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.